Familiar, you're familiar. So if you don't know by now, then you should probably get familiar.
Hello students, so welcome back to my video. So we were discussing the chapter frames of reference, right? So in the frames of reference, this is the part 3 for you, okay? Now in this part 3 video, so we are going to discuss the concept called Galilean invariance, because in the previous video, so we already discussed what is Galilean transformation equations, okay? How the equations are related to each other when it is measured from two frames of references, that is S and S dash, in which one of the frame S dash is moving relatively with respect to S. So there should be a relative motion between the two observers or two frames of reference. Then whatever the coordinate measurements, so we take, so they have some relation, particularly depending upon in which axis it is moving. In that particular axis there is a difference, okay? So we don't accept that all measurements are same in both the frames of reference, okay? So they are called, actually the set of equations are called Galilean transformation equations. Now what is the importance of taking that Galilean transformation equations? So that is what we have to discuss now in this video, okay? Now it is very important to consider some measurements, or we can call it as a measured quantity, physical quantity, or it may be a physical law, okay? So suppose if there is no change, okay, whatever you measure, that physical quantity, there is no change in that, whether you measure with respect to a fixed frame of reference or with respect to moving frame of reference. So with respect to S and with respect to S dash, if you get, suppose if you get same value, I mean no change in the measured physical quantity, then that particular physical quantity is said to be invariant quantity, invariant, or in other words we can say it is a absolute quantity, okay? Now let us see what are the parameters or physical quantities can be considered as invariant, or we can say absolute quantity according to Galilean transformation equations, okay? We are not considering still further Einstein's special theory of relativity. We are still based on Galilean transformation, which physical quantities are invariant. That is what we will discuss now, okay? So in general now we can define a physical quantity or a physical law is called Galilean invariant. So when it is said to be Galilean invariant, if it is remains the same, if it remains same under Galilean transformation equations. So by applying Galilean transformation equations, we can prove that there is no change in that measurement, which is measured between moving frame of reference and fixed frame of reference also, okay? So that is called Galilean invariance in general. Now let us say first quantity, so mass. Suppose if I take the mass of any body, okay? So certain mass can be measured in with respect to any fixed frame of reference, right? Now let us measure the same mass with respect to another frame of reference, so which is carrying the mass. Let us say that mass is, that object is carried by moving frame of reference, and he is also measuring the mass. So with respect to these two moving observers, one is fixed, other one is moving observer. So for with respect to both the observers, if the mass remains constant, okay, then we can say mass is invariant. Clear? So we can define it as, now if the mass of a body is the same for all observers, and it is independent of the relative motion of the observers, it is independent of the relative motion of the observers, then mass is an absolute quantity, right? Mass is an absolute quantity, or you can say M is equal to M dash. What do you mean by that? So you have to consider that M is mass of the body measured with respect to a fixed observer, and M dash is the mass of the same body measured with respect to a moving observer. So in this case you have to get M is equal to M dash, both the masses should be same, okay? For example, I will consider the example like if you measure the mass of a football, let us say, okay, you are measuring the mass of the football on the station, railway station, so you will keep that value as M, and another observer will take the same football into the train, and once the train starts moving, okay, so then with respect to that moving observer, so what is the mass of that football? Is it changing? No. With respect to his observation, so mass remains constant, and then so you will take it as M dash. So M and M dash are found to be same. So in that case, mass of that body is said to be invariant, like that it is. Clear? Now similarly another parameter, so we can consider now time is also invariant. How the time measurement is also said to be invariant? So you are measuring the time using the clocks, right? So if the clocks in two intervals, inertial frames, let us say two inertial frames it is, so which are in the uniform motion, okay, you are considering that inertial frames are moving relatively, then you can consider as uniform motion. So measure the same time at all instants, okay, the time is absolute quantity. So if they are measuring at all different time intervals, okay, at all instants of time, so both the clocks are measuring the same time, then t is equal to t dash, right? So with respect to fixed observer, with respect to moving observer, both are said to be equal. So time measured by two clocks are same. That is why time can be considered as absolute quantity. It is always constant. It never changes with respect to depending upon the observer. So mass and time are now said to be absolute quantities as they never change. Okay. So this concept is still according to Galilean transformation. You have to note that point here. Okay. Further we can prove that so mass is maybe varying, time is also maybe varying. Okay. Further in the discussion we can have that. Okay. So now at this present discussion you have to assume that m is equal to m dash, t is equal to t dash as they are absolute quantities. And similarly we can prove that space interval, so whatever the distance between two objects, that is called space interval, right? So that space interval and even time interval also, okay. So time interval can be measured between the two events, okay, two intervals, so one after the other. So then that gap, time gap is called time interval. So both are actually considered as invariant quantities here, okay. So like that we can prove certain physical quantities are invariant according to Galilean transformation equations. Clear? Now let us try to prove how this space interval particularly and time interval are also invariant quantities one by one. Clear? Okay, now let us try to prove that space interval is invariant here. Okay. So now just look at the diagram first. So what we have in the diagram? So as usual we have first the frame S, okay, and we are assuming that the frame S is always fixed frame of reference, and then the frame S dash is considered as moving frame of reference, right? So what is the velocity of the moving frame of reference S dash? So we are considering that the frame S dash is moving the velocity v along the x-axis direction. Clear? And then already we have proved that if the origins O and O dash are coinciding at the same point at time t equal to 0, then O dash is moving through certain distance as the frame S dash is moving the velocity v, okay. So that the distance between O and O dash is considered as v into t, okay. So the product of velocity into time gives the distance between O and O dash. Okay, now in this example, so to prove the space interval, okay, you have to understand that here the space interval is nothing but the distance between 2 points, okay. To see the distance between 2 points in the space, let us consider a rod, like, so the rod of length, let us say of certain length AB, okay, we are considering the rod of certain length AB. So now how to measure the rod length? So either with respect to frame S and with respect to frame S dash. So for that you have to consider the coordinates along x-axis only. So this is x and this is x dash. So with respect to x-axis, that is with respect to the fixed frame of reference, the observer is here, okay. So what is the length of the rod? So we consider first of all the two ends of the rod, A and B. So distance of the end A of the rod from origin O is equal to how much? It is equal to x1. Similarly, the other end B of the rod is measured with respect to origin O is equal to x2. So the difference x2 minus x1, the difference of x2 and x1, x2 minus x1 will give the total length of the rod AB. x2 minus x1 will give the length of the rod AB. So with respect to S, okay, fixed observer. Now the rod is carried by the frame of reference, let us say. So along with the moving frame of reference, what is the length of the rod? So you will measure the two ends of the rod now, as the end A is measured as x1 dash with respect to the origin O dash, and similarly the other end B of the rod is measured with respect to origin O dash as x2 dash. Then what is the length with respect to now S dash? So you have to consider the difference here, x2 dash minus x1 dash, right? So like that we have the two lengths here. So as the rod is now with respect to S dash, it is at rest, correct? Rod is at rest with respect to S dash because moving frame is carrying this rod here. Okay, it is fixed to the moving frame of reference, let us say. Then, so the rod is in motion with respect to S, similar to the moving frame S dash. So now, what is the length of the rod with respect to S and S dash? With respect to S, it is x2 minus x1. With respect to S dash, it is x2 dash minus x1 dash. Now we have to see that length, what we measure with respect to S and S dash, is same or not. Suppose if it is found to be same, then we can say the space interval or length of the rod is same with respect to both the frame of reference. So now let us try to prove using the Galilean transformation equation. Okay, so as I told, distance of the two ends A and B of the rods from the origin O of the frame S, it is x1 and x2. You can see that here x1 x2 here, and similarly from the origin O dash of the frame S dash, the measurements are x1 dash and x2 dash here. Okay, they are coordinates along x-axis. Then you calculate the length, as I told, length of the rod as measured by the observer of the frame S dash first. Let it be from S dash. So let it be L naught. Okay, so x2 dash minus x1 dash. So why I am taking L naught here? Because with respect to the frame S dash, the rod is at rest because it is carrying, isn't it? It is carrying in the frame S dash, and hence you have to consider the frame S dash is, the rod is in rest with respect to S dash, and let it be that length is L naught. Okay, length of the rod is at rest with respect to S dash, I mentioned here. Okay, next, the length of the rod as measured by the observer of the frame S, fixed frame S, from which the rod is in motion, along with S dash. Okay, and that is given by the Galilean transformation equations. We consider now the Galilean transformation equations. So we have the relation between the coordinates x1 and x2 with respect to x1 dash and x2 dash also. What is that equations? So consider the Galilean transformation equations for now x1 dash first. So x1 dash is related to x1 as minus vt, x1 minus vt. x2 dash, if you take, that is x2 is equal to x2 minus vt, correct? So for both the position coordinates x1 dash and x2 dash, this distance between O and O dash is constant. Okay, so use that Galilean transformation equations and then you take the difference. Okay, so just to substitute this x1 dash, x2 dash in equation 1, then you look at the equation L naught is equal to, so you get x2 minus vt. So in place of x2 dash, what you would write? x2 minus vt. Clear? Similarly, in place of x1 dash, you write x1 minus vt. Okay, so the next step we just simplify it. x2 minus vt minus x1, so this is minus into minus plus vt. Clear? So once you get this simplified equation, you can calculate like by cancelling vt, plus vt and minus vt cancels each other. So left with only x2 minus x1. So as I told, this difference of x2 minus x1 is equal to, again, the length of the rod as measured by the observer in the fixed frame of reference, that is S. Okay, so we started with L naught equation and substituted the Galilean transformation equation, and finally we got the length of the same rod with respect to S. So that is L. So L naught is equal to L, right? So L is equal to L naught, hence the length, or we can say space interval, length or space interval remains unchanged. That remains unchanged. That means it is same with respect to both the frame of reference, and hence we can say the space interval or length or distance between 2 points in the space with respect to two frames of reference when they are under relative motion is always constant. It is just derived as per the Galilean transformation equation only. Is it clear? So that is why according to Galilean transformation equations we can say space interval is invariant. Clear? Okay. Okay, now let us see how we can prove the invariance of time interval using the Galilean transformations. Okay, so for this proof I am again considering the two frames of reference S and S dash. Okay, S dash is moving with the velocity v. Now to see the time interval between the two events, because we are not measuring only the particular instant of time, so we need to consider the two events here. So a simple example is, so let us say at the point P. So the point P, you have to assume that it is fixed with respect to frame of reference S dash. Okay, as long as the frame S dash is moving, so along with the frame S dash, the point P is also moving. Okay, so what is I am considering at the point P here? So an event. So that event may be like a flash of light. Okay, a bulb is fixed at the point P and it is giving two flashes, let us say. There is a time gap between the two flashes. Then certainly there will be a time interval or time gap can be measured with respect to frame of reference S dash and as well with respect to S. So both the observers O and O dash are measuring the time interval between the two flashes at the point P. Clear? So the time measurements with respect to S are T1 and T2, and with respect to S dash you are considering T1 dash and T2 dash. Okay, so the two flashes occurring at T1 T2 and T1 dash T2 dash with respect to S and S dash it is. Now the difference will give you the time interval, correct? Okay, now let us consider that events or flash of light, as I said, occurs at time T1 T2 with respect to S, and the same two flashlights occur at the time intervals at the times T1 dash and T2 dash with respect to S dash it is. Clear? Okay, now what you have to prove? The time interval is same. Okay, for that you proceed here. The time interval of the two flashes with respect to moving observer first, that is O dash. Okay, moving observer is O dash. So with respect to moving observer, the event is fixed. Okay, that is constant with respect to S dash. So with respect to moving observer O dash, what is the time interval? Let it be T naught, that is equal to T2 dash minus T1 dash. Correct? The two instants are taken difference here, that gives the time interval. Okay, let it be equation 1. Then according to Gaussian transformation equations, we know that already a set of Gaussian transformation equations in which the time parameter T is equal to T dash, right? So with respect to S and with respect to S dash, time is said to be constant, and hence we can say here T1 dash is equal to T1, T2 dash is equal to T2 only, according to the last equation, that is Gaussian transformation equations, right? So then substitute in the equation 1. So wherever T2 dash is there, I can just write it as T2, T1 dash is there, so I will write it as T1. So we are getting T naught is equal to now T2 minus T1. But what is the T2 minus T1? The times measurements with respect to S are T1, T2. So the difference is nothing but time interval now measured with respect to S, isn't it? So you can write T is equal to T2 minus T1. Difference is the time interval as measured by the fixed frame S. As measured by the fixed frame S now. And hence we can write the time interval T naught is equal to T only, or T is equal to T naught. Both are same. Okay. So if the time intervals are same with respect to S and S dash, what you can conclude here? So the invariance of time interval, the time interval is constant with respect to S and S dash. Okay. So I mentioned here, hence the time interval between the occurrence of two events does not change. Okay. So in fact you can say like this, delta T is equal to delta T dash also, right? So delta T is the time interval with respect to S, delta T dash with respect to S dash. So both time intervals are constant. Okay. So that is what you can prove using the Gaussian transformation equations here. Clear? Okay. Then what are the parameters that are variant here now? The next question is, so these are the parameters, they are considered as invariant physical quantities. So what are the physical quantities that are going to be changed? That means variant quantities. So that we will discuss in the next video. So particularly, so if we consider the velocity of a moving body or acceleration of a moving body, so that parameters, physical parameters like velocity and accelerations are actually variant quantities with respect to Gaussian transformations. So that part I think you can discuss in the next video. Okay, see you then.